I've hit record. We're now recording. And this is Stream the Machine episode 40 for Saturday, January 17th. And my phone's ringing. We're going to go ahead and hit the opener, though.
There was a young man in Calvary. His name was Ben. And I was running a youth group. I was there for a few years. And he was a nice kid, but he was one of those kids that was always he's a real smart aleck. Was a bright kid, which didn't help things, right? Made him more dangerous. And we were outside one day at youth group, and he was just trying to push my buttons, and he was just, kind of not taking the Lord serious. And I walked over to him, and I went, bam! I punched him in the chest as hard as I crumpled the kid. I just crumpled him. And I leaned over and I said, Ben, when are you going to stop playing games with God? I led that man to the Lord right there. There's times that might be needed.
And you can't kill a person with no body.
We're talking about practice.
You're listening to a Fly Science Productions podcast. Welcome to Stream the Machine. Excuse me. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Stream the Machine episode 40, 10 away from our big 50 in our 1 year. I'm your host, Jake Mercer. With me, as always, is Tony DePalma. I don't hear the jazz. Is it coming through? Oh, it's coming through. We're good. Welcome to the show, Tony. How you doing? Oh, my God. Hold on. You cut out. Again, this sucks. This is awful. Okay, I'm going to restart the call. I'll take the time to tell you this right now, ladies and gentlemen. If you are tuning into the show, if you're tuning into the audio... Okay. Oh, you're back. You're good?
I'm good?
Yeah, that's so stupid.
Okay, cool.
Just saying, if you're tuning into the show and you hear the audio and you're like, well, it would be nice if one day I could actually watch these guys. Well, guess what? Now you can. Go to the website, go to the Twitch page, and we now offer a video stream with our show. So now you don't just have to listen to us. You don't just have to listen to us audio only. You have a visual perspective. Mm-hmm. Two very good-looking men talking about things. Anyways, episode 40, I was introducing ourselves, and I said, Tony, how are you doing today? So now you can actually answer, because I can hear you.
Sleepy.
But
I'm awake.
I'm kind of in the same boat, to be honest. We talked about it a week or two ago. It's not that we don't ever want to not do the show, but today was one of those days where I woke up and I was like, damn, it is... just kind of dragging, But we're here to do a show. I'm actually really excited. Ross has been going crazy on his Karmafied topic still.
Looks like it.
So we're going to have... Good Lord. We're going to have a shit ton to talk about later today. So we'll move forward through this stuff pretty quickly.
I like how he's like... in the show notes, he's like shrinking the text size to not make it seem like it's that much.
Well, so here's the thing: is that he can talk through quite a bit of this. I mean, pretty quickly, depending on how far he wants to get before he asks us our sort of our discussion topic. But I wonder if he's listening into us as we do this, as we talk about his notes as he's writing them. Anyways, as I said before the show, I actually don't have a lot of exciting news for this week, so. We're going to open up with Tony instead of me, because I have nothing to say.
I don't have much. We talked about it briefly, but I played another show in Peoria last weekend.
Okay.
At a coffee shop, and I had never been to this place before. But it was really stinking packed.
Yeah?
Like
when you sent pictures to me now of a couple of your shows, and they... Yeah. I'm impressed because it looks like someone's actually coming to see you play, like your band, your group.
Most of it's probably family.
Right. Well, either way, either way, that's a huge damn family if that's the case. But I don't know, man. Every time you show me pictures, I'm always like, dang, they must be good because it looks like you're drawing a crowd.
We do what we can, but it was like because we'd played in Lakin, which is like 40 minutes north of Peoria.
Okay, yeah.
And, I mean, people came, but not a whole lot of people.
That's a small place, yeah.
It's a small place, and it's way up north. But this place was, like, right where we all live. So a bunch of people came that didn't get to come to the Lakin shows, and it was, like, really, really packed. And there was a lot of background noise, and we weren't mic'd all the best because we didn't anticipate so many people.
Right.
But we learned from our mistakes.
I was going to tell you, if you can get someone who can take a decent video of a show, and either get good audio quality or even good video quality, we can play it on the show. And I would actually love to have that opportunity if possible. If you could get someone with a camera that's not like, a camera phone or something, or even if it's, even if they do it on their phone and it just happens to pick up like really good sound, I mean, shit, I'll play it. I would love to have an opportunity to play any of that on the show. Because what little I heard from the clip you sent me, as you well know, it's very hard to get sort of a live audio sound that doesn't sound like crap if you're not, getting the right tools to do it. But it sounded very good, even from what looked like a phone camera. So, would love that opportunity. All right, well, I guess we're bumping right on the news. I only have one news item right here for us, but I figured this might give us a good subject to talk about. So I guess Oscar season is coming up on us, and as much as I talk about film, actually, I want to play our clip here. 404 error, page not found. I shaved this week. I don't know if anyone can tell.
I noticed that.
It makes me look younger and like less of a Mexican because since I can't grow my facial hair like a white man, I get the Mexican beard where it's just like the stash and then I don't like it. Anyways, Oscars, yeah. So as much as we talk about film and as much as you and I have been involved in film, I actually don't really follow the Oscar season that much.
I don't either.
Really. I never know when it's coming up.
I should.
And I know it's always the beginning of the year, but I guess, excuse me, it never occurs to me until I start seeing the nominations or the awards. And it's come up. There's been a lot of nominations, and I was just going to go through the list here, and we can talk about the things we've seen or what we think about some of these particular nominations. Now, not to be sentimental in any way, but one of the first podcasts, actually, it was the first podcast I think I did. We talked about Oscar awards, like being won. So we are almost full circle, man. We are 10 episodes away. About the time. Now, technically, actually, it wasn't on this show that we talked about Oscar awards. I actually did a tech show, like, for 2 weeks before it evolved into Stream the Machine. And that one, I think we talked about the Oscar awards, so... But it's weird to be back at that point where we're now talking about Oscars again on a podcast. And I'm sure it'll feel even weirder next year.
Yeah.
All right, so the nominations for the 87th Academy Awards have been announced. I'm going to read through this article. It has... I'm going to read through the big names here, and then we'll go through the list. So it's the only news article we got, so it's we can devote some time to this. Grand Budapest Hotel and Birdman are leading the way with 9 nominations apiece. Looks like total for every category.
I missed that. My headphone got unplugged. I heard Grand Budapest Hotel and
Birdman.
For what?
Birdman, the Michael Keaton.
No. What about those two movies?
Oh, sorry. Birdman? No, it's they have the most nominations out of everything so far for the Academy Awards. The films vying for Best Picture are, let's see. Why am I going to read these up front? I'm not going to read those up front because I'm going to read those again in a moment. Yeah, I'm not going to read those. So now I'm just going to go through the list of the nominees here. That's a huge list. So I'm going to pick I guess everything that isn't stuff like makeup and hairstyling, because as much as important as those things are, I'm not as familiar with people like that, and I don't believe the audience is either. So we'll go through things like Best Picture, Director, Script. Best Picture nominees, Birdman, as I already said, Boyhood, Selma. Okay, so this has been a sort of a pitiful year for movies for me. I've not gone to a lot. So I'm going to say that I probably haven't seen a lot of these. Theory of Everything.
I'm going to say the same thing.
So this is a great topic for us to be talking about. The Theory of Everything, which was the can't even think of it. Stephen Hawking biopic, if that's what you want to call it.
Is it biopic or biopic?
See, people call it biopic, but I don't know if that's correct. So let's go ahead and Google this. Pronunciation. Audio. We're going to get an audio pronunciation here. This is a YouTube video.
For me, it just sounds like bio, like your biography, and pic, like picture, like a biopic. So, like...
I don't know. Let's find out here. Video's playing.
Biopic, or biographical movie. Biopic, or biographical movie.
She did say biopic.
Biopic, or biographical movie.
Biopic.
I don't like that. I preferred it if it was biopic. But I guess
sounds like something you'd like you're a bionic man.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I guess it sounds like a condition. He's biopic.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the Theory of Everything was the Stephen Hawking thing about him. The Imitation Game. I have no idea what that was.
I think that's with Benedict Cumberbatch. And I don't know what he does.
Was that he was in a spy thing? Was that it?
It may have been that one. I didn't see it, obviously.
Grand Budapest Hotel, which I've heard was amazing, and I'm a big fan of Wes Anderson. I'm surprised. I was kind of bummed I missed it.
Yeah, I did see that one, and it was pretty good.
The American Sniper, which I've not seen, but I'm also. I mean, I think I've said it on the show. I'm not really for all the like military bravado kind of films, but it must be good if it's being nominated for Best Picture. It's Bradley Cooper. I don't know the story of it, but
I actually went. Me and some friends, we were like, "Hey, let's go see American Sniper tonight." I was like, "Okay." So we get to there, and I was still working the movie theater, so I really wasn't worried about like getting a ticket.
Right.
And they get there, and they're waiting, and it like sells out before I even get there. Huh. So we were just like standing there, like, well, what do we want to do? Do we want to wait 2.5 hours for the next one, or just watch it tomorrow? So I think I'm going to go see it with them today, sometime like in the early afternoon.
You have to let me know how it is. God, my throat is like mega dry.
Here you go.
I just had water too. Well, thank you, Tony. No, let me know how it is, because I don't know. I can't shake the overall sort of negative feeling I get from war films.
Yeah.
Especially modern ones, because we're in a really high point now of where it's, I don't know. I'm not even going to get into it. It's too deep, and it's too it's too my opinion. And that's not what I want to do on the show, is like necessarily like just throw my super opinions on stuff like war and military on everybody. So we're not going to do that. Whiplash, and I don't know what that is. Not a clue.
I really want to see that movie because it's like, from what I've gathered, it's a guy who goes to like Juilliard or some music school, and he's playing drums. It's Miles Teller, and his like band coach or teacher or whatever. Mm-hmm. I can't remember his name.
Oh wait, that's the drummer one.
Yeah, that's the drummer one.
With I don't know his real name, but it's
J. Jonah Jameson from Spider-Man.
Yeah, it's that guy.
Dr. Angry.
Shit, I want to see that one now too. I remember it now. Crap.
Yeah.
Well, those are the best pictures. Looks like 8 different nominations there. Go through some of the directing ones here. Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu for Birdman. Again, one I want to see, but I haven't seen yet. Michael Keaton as a washed-up superhero actor. I've heard like rave reviews about it.
Richard, like the perfect time to release a movie like that.
I know,
it's just all these superhero movies going out right now.
Right. Well, and it's sort of doubly important too because he used to be Batman. So
yeah,
you know, it all kind of I don't know. It's very kind of meta. Richard Linklater for Boyhood. Again, haven't seen Boyhood. I actually do really like the films I've seen from Richard Linklater.
What else has he done?
He's done. Okay, did you ever see Bernie with
Jack Black?
Jack Black.
I did not.
Very, very. I think it's hilarious. Rachel and I actually just rewatched it recently. I had already seen it, but she hadn't. I think she enjoyed it, and she doesn't really like Jack Black, but very good. He's Linklater does films. What you call? I think they're legitimately called mumblecore, and it's films that are like based on like trying to do the most accurately normal conversations between people as possible. So it's very like low-key, very run-of-the-mill conversation-y, heavy conversation type of films. Trying to think, A Scanner Darkly, if you ever saw that. He also did Linklater. His biggest thing that I think a lot of people probably remember is Dazed and Confused. I haven't seen it, but that was the...
I think I've seen it a long time ago, but it was like on in the background when I was doing something else at my house.
Basically, though, like it's like I said, he's the kind of guy. Like the whole quote unquote mumblecore like film movement is basically trying to gather realistic dialogue. You know, you don't have your fast talking Ocean's 11, everyone's witty as hell type of stuff going on. You basically have like people that when you look at him, you're like, this could be a documentary because that guy looks like he doesn't look like an actor. You know, he looks like he's grabbed that dude off the street and asked him a question. It's an interesting style, but I really like some of the stuff that Linklater's done. On a personal note, what is it? Scanner Darkly, really good. I highly recommend that one. I also recommend Bernie. That's on Netflix. A Scanner Darkly, I don't believe is on Netflix, but Scanner Darkly is very good. It's got Keanu Reeves. It's got Robert Downey Jr. It's got Woody Harrelson. And it's it's animated in a way.
Games.
Right. Well, so the way it worked was they filmed the entire film, right? And I'm trying to think of what they called it, or what the technique was called. But they film it, and then they have artists go on top of it every few frames. Good Lord. Sorry. I'm dying today. They have artists go on top of the frames every so few, however many, and draw what they see, like, over the frame. I can't remember what it's called. But basically the entire film looks like it's animated, but it's like drawings that they've done over actual frames of the film. So like all of the drawing, like all the lip movements and everything sync up more than they do on an actual animated film because they actually have like drawn from the lips of the actors themselves. I'm
like looking through the pictures on IMDb and it looks really neat.
It's honestly, it's really cool. I wouldn't say it's like a mind-blowing experience. It's something I actually had to watch like 5 times before I understood what the plot was. Because if you don't look up the plot and you just try to gather it in one shot, at least when I owned it, it was difficult. Now that was also 6 or 7 years ago. Watching it now could be a big difference, but I highly recommend it just for the artistic style. Also because I love Keanu Reeves and because it's a very it's based on a Philip K. Dick short story. And Philip K. Dick did short stories for a lot of big major movies. He's dead, but his stuff's been adapted. He did Blade Runner. He did Minority Report, Scanner Darkly. He did the Adjustment Bureau. He does a lot of stuff that ends up getting brought to the big screen because his stories are really good and really insightful, and they're often very philosophical. Yeah. And then people just go, hey, let's make that into a movie. And so they do. Anyways, that's enough on Richard Linklater. We'll kind of blow through some of these others. Wes Anderson for Grand Budapest Hotel. I always want to call it Mushroom Kingdom, but that's not the real name. What was it? Moonrise Kingdom.
Yeah.
I always want to call it Mushroom
Moonshine Kingdom. And I was like, no, that's not it.
Moonrise, I believe, was up for nominations last year, was it? Or the year before?
Moonrise, I think it was the year before.
I don't know if it won, but I know that was up. That actually might have won, actually. Because I think my sister went and saw it, and she said she didn't really think it was all that funny.
I mean, yeah.
Wes
I mean,
Anderson stuff is
funny
very...
movie, I wouldn't say. But it was good.
Yes, I enjoyed it a lot. I like a lot of Wes Anderson stuff, though. He does a lot of weird, kind of quirky humor, but serious, and you never really know what to feel. Morton Tildum for The Imitation Game, and Bennett Miller for Foxcatcher.
That's what I want to see, Foxcatcher.
You know, that whole thing kind of got tainted for me because it looked really interesting, and it's about a real wrestler, like a real, not like a WWE wrestler, but a real, I can't remember his name is, Joey something, I think, maybe. He was in huge support of the film up until its release, and then after it released, and I'm assuming he had seen parts of the film prior, but once it got released, he like completely distanced himself and said it was like an awful film and wasn't like accurate portrayal of his life at all.
Really?
Yeah, and it was, so I can't, it's not like the film itself has like lost its impact for me so much as I just don't know what to think now, because the guy that's based on has like renounced it completely and says that he doesn't support the film at all anymore, when before it released he was like 100% like, yep, this is the film, man, it's gonna be the best, you know. And just kind of a weird thing because it looked good. It was Steve Carell in a dramatic role. You're always interested in comedy dudes trying to serious up.
Yeah. And did you see the, what was it, Golden Globes Awards? That was,
I didn't. I don't.
A couple weeks, like last week or something. They made a joke. It was Amy Poehler and Tina Fey that were hosting, and they were like, for Foxcatcher, Steve Carell plays like an eccentric billionaire madman, or a murderous billionaire, so, which isn't much of a stretch for him, because as being a millionaire madman murderer, and it like pans to him, and he's just deadpan, just staring at the camera.
Oh, that's
it's like all serious, just bearded face, and just looking terrifying. I was like, oh Jesus.
Let's see, actress in leading role, Rosamund Pike for Gone Girl is one of the nominations. It was pretty good. A couple others here from films I don't know. Actor in a leading role, Michael Keaton from Birdman, Steve Carell in Foxcatcher, Bradley Cooper from American Sniper. Let's see. Animated feature films, Big Hero 6, How to Train Your Dragon 2, The Box Trolls, The Tale of Princess Kaguya, and Song of the Sea. I've only heard of the first 3. And I didn't realize How to Train Your Dragon 2 was already out.
Yeah, it came out in June.
Big Hero 6 was Marvel's foray into animation.
That I didn't get to see, but I heard it was really good.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I heard the same as well. Adapted screenplay. Sorry, I wasn't trying to...
This is what I heard that was good. He's like, I heard the same. We're like, we need to watch more movies.
I know. Well, see, that's the thing is I get so... After having worked in the theater, I get really, like, pretentious about movies now. Where I'm like, like, if it doesn't 100% draw me in, you can't convince me to go see it. If I have, like, even a little bit of reservation. But that's true about most things. If there's, like, a restaurant that you're like, oh, this is really good, chances are you can't convince me to go to it because I just don't want to go. That said, Ex Machina is coming out. I believe in April, which sucks because the UK is getting it in like 2 weeks, and that is getting really good reviews right now. It basically is another philosophical kind of AI-based plot where a guy who basically was sort of like the Thomas Edison of his time, just like with inventions, kind of goes into becoming a recluse and basically works on this project to create the most human AI possible, and then invites this student or someone to come and test that the AI to see how human it actually is, which is an actual thing. It's the Turing test, is where they have a human talk to a computer, like through text, asking questions, like you can, do whatever you want. And the computer will offer questions back. And if you can tell whether or not you're talking to a human or a computer, then that is like the test for like passing the tour, what they call the Turing test. And if it passes, then it's supposed to be like crazy big, because you're not supposed to be, like, computers are not supposed to be humans, obviously. Anyways, the film, I mean, it looked really interesting. From what I've seen, it has a lot of sort of sci-fi elements, you know, but then also sort of some horror elements, because the machine, like the AI, kind of tries to escape, and it looked really interesting. And the reviews right now are very high for it. Unfortunately, we have to wait 3 more months because it's a UK film. Let's skip some of the things here and look for. Oh, let's see. Anything else major? Anything? Original score. We'll do that. That'll be our last one.
Okay.
Hans Zimmer for Interstellar.
Hans. I really was a big fan of Hans Zimmer initially. He's very talented, but every now it just seems like it's the same, like the same stuff, just kind of like restyled for each movie.
Yeah. Well, and that's the problem you get with guys like that. Excuse me. I would say, you know, it's kind of like, I think the same with, who's the big guy? He did Lord of the Rings. John Williams. Like, you hear that kind of score. I think it's John Williams that does a lot of work with Spielberg. But anyways,
yeah,
it's like when you see a Spielberg film or something, you just hear it and you're like, and it's sometimes you can identify it by just because, oh, that's his style, but a lot of times it's because you're like, oh, I'm familiar with that motif. You know, like it feels like it's been just kind of, like you said, repurposed.
John Williams, he has made pretty much all the super catchy songs that you hear in, like the Star Wars, Indiana Jones,
right,
E.T., Home Alone. All those really catchy ones are all him. But like Hans Zimmer does like the ominous, low, heavy drums.
Right.
Just long chords, like suspenseful stuff. It fits it fits all the music really well. Like fits the movie really well. But it's just I don't know. It's still really good. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. I understand where you're coming from, though.
And also, John Williams didn't do Lord of the Rings.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was Howard Shore.
Oh, shoot. I feel stupid. Well, unfortunately, sorry for Howard Shore for shitting on your film. I wasn't trying to. You're not John Williams. Let's see here. Alexandra Desplat for The Imitation Game. Johan Johansson for The Theory of Everything.
Johan Johansson?
Yep, that's his real name. Alexander Desplat again for The Grand Budapest Hotel. And Gary Yershan for Mr. Turner, whatever that is. Just some of your nominations here. There's 1,000 more, but we're not going to go through them.
Howard Shore also did Twilight Saga Eclipse.
Why would he stoop that low? Sorry for all you Twilight fans out there. I apologize. I don't mean to talk bad about it. Well, now that we're done with the serious news, we have some other things to talk about. In other news,
this just in other news.
This one's actually really good. Robber recognizes gas station clerk, decides to rob another gas station. Authorities in Colorado said an alleged robber abandoned his plans when he recognized the clerk and decided instead to give a thumbs up and rob another store. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Office said the man was disguising his face with a bandana and the hood of his blue jacket when he walked into the Quick Save store in Wheat Ridge just before 12 p.m. on Tuesday. Expletive. This is a quote. So I'm gonna say crap instead of these expletives.
Okay.
I guess there's only one. So he's like, F or crap. I was gonna rob this place, but I know you. The sheriff's office quoted the suspect as saying to the clerk, "Do you know me?" The clerk responded that he did not recognize the suspect, who said good, and exited the store with a thumbs up aimed at the worker. The incident was recorded by a CCTV, the sheriff's office said. File this in the "you just can't make this stuff up" file, the sheriff's office said on the Facebook page. Suspect matching the same description robbed a 7-Eleven store in a nearby Arvada shortly after the aborted crime. The sheriff's office has released the CCTV and still images of the suspect in hopes that he can be identified by members of the public. Well, at least he's got a conscience, I guess.
Do you recognize me?
Good.
No. Good.
Thumbs up.
That's what I just said, straight out says, I was going to rob this place. Not just like...
How does he... I'm curious how he recognizes the guy. If he comes there often, of course he's going to recognize him. Should he have been surprised? Like, how do you... If I recognize a gas station attendant, it's because I've been to the gas station a lot. So then when I go to rob that gas station, and I go, wait a minute. I come here all the time. I recognize you. I'm not going to rob this place. So I'm trying to figure out where else he could have recognized.
Does it say that he was like a regular at the gas station?
It doesn't. It just says he said he recognized the attendant.
Recognized him from like work, or like I don't know, maybe like they saw him out on about, or they have mutual friends.
I don't know. Saw him at a party once.
Yeah. Who knows?
Oh, that's so good. This one's kind of funny and kind of also not so funny, and I'll explain why. Coke in the trunk, pranksters failed to amuse the LAPD. So I watched this video earlier. It's basically these kids that are sitting around like a boardwalk or something like in California. I don't know where the actual boardwalk is, if that's a California thing or not, but basically out by a beach, and they're asking people, hey, do you want to buy some Coke? And the police get called on them, and they're sitting in the car, and they're like, oh, no, we're not, just chilling in the car, we're not doing anything. And then one guy in the back goes, I'm sorry, I can't do this. We have Coke in the trunk. And they're like, okay, and they handcuff everybody, get them out, and they're like, relax, we're going to take care of the situation. They go, they open up the trunk, and it's full of Coca-Cola cans. And so here's the story, at least, anyways. Los Angeles police said a YouTube prank involving officers being tipped off to a trunk full of Coke that turned out to be a Coca-Cola wasted police resources. The video created by the Nelk Films prank group entitled Coke Prank on Cops went viral this week after the group filmed themselves sitting in a vehicle and being approached by police. Quote, I can't do this. We have a bunch of Coke in the back. I'm sorry, said one of the pranksters in the video. Police officers placed the vehicle's occupants in handcuffs before opening the trunk and discovering dozens of Coca-Cola cans under a blanket in the back of the sports utility vehicle. The officers appear amused by the stunt and shake the pranksters' hands when they release them from the cuffs. The cops, quote, the cops were so cool about it, but we didn't think they were going to be like that. Group member Kyle Forgard told CBS Los Angeles, we thought they were going to get mad. However, the Los Angeles Police Department was not as amused as the officers. Quote, it is dangerous for the participants involved and a huge waste of police officers' time. The public has a right to have their police officers working and not wasting their time responding to juvenile pranks. Police officials said they are concerned about potential copycats and warned that such public stunts could lead to charges of making a false report. As kind of funny and genius as the prank is, I agree 100% with the police force. I think that it's a complete waste of police officer time, and I don't think it's a good idea. Funny. The video was entertaining. It wasn't like laugh out loud hilarious. But I don't know, man. Just like pranking cops, it's like it's just not. I don't know. Like they've got better shit to do than be like dealing with the prank. And I get that it's just two cops and it's happened here, but I don't know. I was kind of like, I don't want to say in shock. Because, I mean, who else are you going to pull the Coke prank on, you know?
True.
Who else could you get?
Mall security?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there's really no... The police would have had to be the people you could pull the prank on. I get it. But, I don't know.
I agree it's kind of a waste of time, but I don't think... I'm sure, like, the officers thought it was funny. They were probably like, hey, it's a good, like, fun to kind of mix that in with your daily... on the daily grind. You're like, oh, that's funny.
Right.
Like,
I was surprised, to be honest. I was surprised they reacted so nonchalantly to be like, oh, it's just Coca-Cola in the back. I mean, maybe because their paperwork just got that much easier. I don't know. I was genuinely shocked. I didn't expect the police to be so nonchalant about it, but whatever. It goes as it goes. We've got some follow-up here. So I don't know if I mentioned this at the top of the show, but we got some follow-up on our first clip for today. Pastor punches kid in the chest to teach him about Jesus. A New Jersey preacher turned viral star said a clip of a sermon where he recounts punching a youth for not taking the Lord serious was taken out of context. Eric Damon, pastor of the Bible Baptist Church in Hasbrook Heights, appears in the video clip delivering a sermon to his congregation about a smart aleck kid named Ben he encountered at a youth group meeting 13 years ago in Calgary. Damon said the boy was trying to push his buttons and not taking the Lord very serious. Now, I'm kind of curious what the pushing the buttons part is. I mean, I guess if you're at youth group, maybe he's just being rambunctious. How old is the kid, you know? Because I've seen youth groups before, and I don't really see a lot of dudes, like, jerking around and being stupid. But, I don't know. Quote, and we've already heard this, but so I walked over to him and I went bam, punched him in the chest as hard as I could. I crumpled the kid. Just crumpled him. Then I leaned over and said, Ben, when are you going to stop playing games? I led that man to the Lord right there.
I'd like to see. I want to know Ben's perspective.
Yeah, come on. Like, where's our behind the scenes interview with that guy?
Did he put up a fight?
Well, yeah, and another thing too, really, is how old is the kid? He says he punched him in the chest as hard as he could. So, you know, is the guy 10? Is it a 10-year-old kid? Is it a 16-year-old kid? Is he, 18 or 19? And then you punch him in the chest, in which case I'd be less concerned. The sermon, which was from July, had initially been posted online by the church, but was later deleted. However, the video was posted to YouTube by someone else in December and has since gone viral. Damon told New York Daily News he considers his confrontation with Ben to be inexcusable and he feels deep sorrow about the incident. Of course you do, because everyone knows now.
Yeah.
Quote, I do not endorse child abuse or the punching of children. Unless it involves teaching Jesus. No, he didn't say that part. My intention in the sermon was to make a point of how God can use our mistakes. The viral clip does not show the whole sermon, where I said what I did was wrong. Quote, my actions were not reflective of Christ and the teachings of the Bible. I do not condone abuse in any form. I chose a very poor example from my past and very poor wording to describe it and deeply regret using it. Everyone's going to deeply regret something when it's become what it has.
When it goes viral.
Yes, exactly. Of course you do. You didn't deeply regret it until someone decided they wanted to record your sermon.
He's got his two best friends, Holy Spirit.
Oh, that's too good. Alrighty, here's another one that's not really funny or anything. It's just kind of neat, kind of interesting. Bus riding dog is a regular sight for Seattle residents. A black lab in Seattle has become a familiar face to bus drivers and passengers who have gotten used to the canine taking solo trips on public is what I said originally. Public transport. Public is not a word as far as I know. Commuters in the Belltown area said that they have become accustomed to the sight of a 2-year-old Eclipse, which apparently is a dog. I would have thought a car. Climbing aboard the bus without human accompaniment and settling into a window seat before getting off at her destination, the dog park. Quote, all the bus drivers know her. She sits there just like a person does. She makes everyone happy. How could you not love this? Miles Montgomery, a local radio host, tweeted pictures. Blah, we don't care about that guy. Quote, the dog gets off at the dog park. I just look out the window and I'm like, did that just happen? She was most concerned about seeing out the window, and I couldn't figure out what that was. I was just really it was really just her trying to see where her stop was. The Eclipse's owner, Jeff Young, said he and the Eclipse, Eclipse is the name of the dog.
Yeah,
That finally has occurred to me. So I don't know much about cars. I know even less about dogs. And so I assumed that Eclipse was some sort of breed of animal. Oh, shit.
They said at the beginning, the black lab.
They did, didn't they?
That's like the first thing you said, a black lab, right?
The sight of, yeah. Well, okay, so here's another thing. As you well know, I don't always read these things well enough. It does say the 2-year-old Eclipse. Well, it doesn't say the 2-year-old Eclipse. It says the sight of 2-year-old Eclipse. I thought it said the sight of the 2-year-old Eclipse. whatever. I'm not justifying anything. We're almost at 1 year, ladies and gentlemen. We're not stopping now. The Eclipse's owner, Jeff Young, said he and Eclipse take the bus to the park a few times a week, but she will leave without him if she gets impatient. We get separated. She gets on the bus without me, and I catch up with her at the dog park. It's not hard to get on. She gets on in the front of her house, and she gets off the dog park 3 or 4 stops later. Quote, she has been here the last 2 years. She's been urbanized totally. She's a bus-riding, sidewalk-walking dog. Probably once a week I get a phone call. Hi, I have your dog Eclipse here on 3rd and Bell, and I have to tell him no, she's fine. She knows what she's doing. The Metro Transit spokesman said the agency is pleased to serve Seattle residents of all species, but the dog, quote, would be much safer in the world if she had her owner on a leash. That last comment sounds kind of snarky and mean. Would be much safer in the world if she had her owner on the leash. Saying that her owner, I guess, lets her run amok. I don't know. I guess I get the concern from their part. I mean, they've got a dog riding on the bus. There's no telling if that dog's going to bite every person on there or shit all over the bus. You know?
It's true.
So I guess there's a bit of a concern to be had there. But what are you going to do? It's a bus riding dog.
She knows what she's doing.
Let's see. Well, geez, that brings us up to Would You Rather, doesn't it? Let's see. What do I have for Would You Rather? We have a little bit of this.
It's something about the girl. Elbows out, hands up high. Elbows out, hands up high.
Speaking of Jesus. And then an old classic here.
He smokes with cigarettes.
I've never gotten rid of that one. I kept that one on there. Alrighty, Would You Rather? Let's find out here. Oh my gosh. This one should be an easy one, I would think. Would you rather never be able to stop talking all day long, or only be able to say 10 words every day?
Does that include, like, texting and writing? Is this, like, vocal?
I believe it's vocal only.
Jeez, I think I would have to do 10 words a day.
I think I would do the same.
I don't
never
think
stop talking is... Imagine us holding a podcast all day, every day, as we were doing everything else we were doing. Like, that's what it would have to be, is the back and forth conversation, just...
Well, we couldn't let the other persons talk. We'd have to keep talking the entire time. So it'd just be two guys talking over the entire time.
That's an awful podcast idea. All right, easy enough. 10 words a day. What? 100,000 votes. 53% said they would rather have non-stop talking all day long. 47% said they'd rather only have 10 words.
Wow.
I'd rather be quiet. I would rather, as much as I love to talk, I would rather say 10 words only. That's crazy. Excuse me, I found another good one in here. Okay. Would you rather lose all of your hair, so completely hairless, bald, no hair anywhere, or be completely hairy? So you've got hair, but then it's like you've got a beard on the rest of your body as well. You've got a body beard. I'm going to Google body beard and see what pops up. Body beard images. Here's a guy. I don't know what to think of this picture. I'm going to send it to you. This is a man eating ramen out of his beard.
I have seen that photo. He does a lot of weird things with his beard.
Ugh, I can't look at it anymore. That's gross. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. That's it's just, I don't want to think about it. There was an Urban Dictionary for body beard. Let's look that up. I'm surprised that this is a thing. A body of facial hair that stretches all the way from the sideburns of the face down to the toes. Most noticeable around the neck, where sprouts of hair pop out of an. So let's see. Body beard looks best when covered in sour. Not going to continue. It doesn't really get graphic, but it just gets stupid. So body beard versus no hair whatsoever. Which would you prefer? Extremely hairy or extremely not hairy?
I don't think I could do extremely hairy. I don't.
Yeah, I would make the bald work. I think I would have to make the bald work.
I think I'd have to go with that. People would be like, people just assume you're like dying because like you won't have eyebrows.
That's true.
Like all your hair is just falling out.
I didn't think about
like
the eyebrows. Eyebrows really is the only part that's kind of weird. It's not like anyone's going to notice the rest of your body is without hair except for your head. Yeah, eyebrows. It would look mildly weird for a moment.
It would look kind of funny.
Let's see here. Oh, let's go to the next page. We'll pick 2 more, and then we will jump right on to an early Karmafied. If you can call it early, considering it's almost 11:30. Or 10:30 where you're at. Okay. Wow. Woo! This one's going to be hard. Would you rather have, this is kind of morbid too, a 20% chance of dying right now, instantly, or a 50% chance of losing an arm and a leg right now?
So wait, what percent of dying? What's
okay, 20%. 20% chance in dying. You have a 1 in 5 chance of dying, or 50% chance of losing an arm and a leg, which is a 1 in 2 chance. Every 2 times you chose that, you would probably, on average, lose an arm and a leg. Whereas you could do the dying one about 5 times before you would have a repetition. If we're going just by the averages, which are not always true.
Yeah, if we're just doing basic chance, then that is really darn tough. Because obviously I don't want to lose an arm and a leg, but
yeah,
I have more chance of doing that, but I have a better chance of living. But I can still live without an arm and a leg, but I can't live if I get killed.
I can't live if I'm dead.
You can't kill someone with no body.
That's true. Hold on, we luckily. Oh my gosh, where is it? I can't find it. Oh wait, here it is.
And you can't kill a person with no body.
He also says this.
Toronto doesn't have bums.
I've never been to Toronto, so I can't confirm that. I think I might go with the 20% chance of dying right now. Because that.
I think I'd do the same. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. We're both in a yawning state. Well, I mean, if you really, I think I would become depressed, and I think I would immediately cry if I like was, the genie pops out and is like, all right, here we go, and we do it, and all of a sudden I'm like, all right, arm and a leg, boom, and then I'm missing them. I don't know what I'd do. I'd have to have specialized one-armed controllers for all my games.
Couldn't really drive all that well.
And I don't drive anyways, as it is. I get chauffeured to work, so that wouldn't change at all. I couldn't do my job.
You'd have to... Yeah. I was going to say, if you were a girl, we could change her name to Eileen. But we're not. Second follow-up question.
Okay.
If you had to lose an arm and a leg, which arm and which leg would you want to lose? I think I would want to keep my right arm and lose my right leg.
Really? No kick drum? Oh, you could do left, though.
And left.
And with a hi-hat, I guess. Because I'm thinking of it from a drum perspective, from your standpoint.
Because I have a double pedal right now.
Right. So, do you think you know what? Hold on a second. What was the guy from Lynyrd Skynyrd? Or something like that?
It was, Def Leppard only had one arm.
Yeah. So it could be done. Now, with the one leg, that would be a little more difficult. But with the one arm, you could definitely get used to that. I would definitely probably lose my left arm.
Yeah.
And I would lose... Okay, well, if I lost my left arm, I would lose my right leg. Because... One, just to sort of balance, and two...
Yeah.
I think I would be more likely to fall... Well, maybe not. I was thinking maybe I would be more likely to fall on the side that didn't have a leg. In which case I would need my right arm to catch me. But if my left side's going to be more heavy because of the left leg being there, I wonder if I would fall to the left side more often.
I mean, you'd fall because of the weight up top. When you fall, it's like your legs don't really fall. It's just your upper body just falls really fast because your legs don't fall that far. The weight's not all that high up on your body.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm going to go lose my right leg, lose my left arm.
Yeah, that's the same with me.
Let's see what people here decided about the death and the arm thing here. Okay, not too bad, I guess. The top quote on this one was, "Oh my god, I just chose the option 2 and I lost my leg. People don't vote on this one." Okay, out of 75,000 people, 57% said that they would rather have a 20% chance of dying right now, as opposed to 43% who said that they would rather have the 50% chance of losing an arm and a leg. A lot of percentages there. Let me see if I can find one quick one.
Would you rather have fingers as long as your legs or legs as long as your fingers?
Oh! I don't know. It's giving perverse images in my mind. Oh, it's inhuman. Actually, you know what? We also have a quote for that one.
She cannot be a human.
Chainsaw to the dick.
I'd rather have that. Can I choose that as an option? No. Oh boy. I guess I'd go with fingers as long as freaking legs. I don't think I could do the legs as long as fingers. I really don't. It's so weird to even think about it. Oh. I don't like that one. That was a good one, but it was very... I don't know, I'm just thinking of like... It feels like some kind of weird, like, Tim Burton animation that should be happening. Some just weird and freaking Johnny Depp singing to it in the background. Finger legs.
Because, like, if your fingers are as long as your legs and you're walking, your fingers are dragging on the ground if you're not careful.
Well, I figured I would probably walk them along with me as I went. That was the only real way to do that and not not have any issues. All right, well, that brings us to our first break. So let's go ahead and finger walk ourselves right over there. We've recently played Chox-Mak and DJ on the show, but I'm going to play them again because they sent a song a while back that I didn't play when we played... shoot, what was the band? Dead Language.
Oh yeah.
When we played them on the show, I forewent one of these songs, and so I've decided now that we'll go ahead and play one of theirs. The song is called Fresh, from our show not originals, but our recurring guests, Chox-Mak and DJ YRS Jerzy. This is a brand new single of theirs from probably about 2 months ago. So it's not entirely brand new.
In the music world, people play, this new single that's been out for a year and a half.
Exactly.
So yeah, we're good.
We're still in the grace period here. When we come back, a massive segment with Karmafied, it looks like, and we will take care of that. And that's that. All right. Well, we'll be back. Goodbye.
Yeah. Perform what up? It's your boy Mac, aka Mr. 90s Flow. We about to kill him though. Fresh. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my chest, but I'm known to kill a verse and leave a track in a mess. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my chest. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my chest. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. But I'm known to kill a verse or leave a track in a mess. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. Fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm 10 steps ahead of the rest, one of the best. Said without a stutter, know you about to be impressed. King of both worlds, Capone to Elliot Ness. Alien kid phoning home to clean up Elliot's mess. You can roll with super dope, but you can settle for less. Fire on the microphone is my family crest. I'm fresh, deaf geared up since 84. Layups won't get it done, run courts, I'm trying to score, so I'ma take it to the rack strong. My product is heavy, they still trying to Casper slide with those betties. I'm a ghost joints, get Swayze on a beat. Still talking Balenciagas, yeah, they paying for defeat. I'm almost to the point, you gotta pay me just to speak. Past that, but I'm still humble, I'll delay it for a week. Preach, the verses break them down at the altar. See my flow catch eyes like the Rock of Gibraltar. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. But I'm known to kill a verse and leave a track in a mess. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. But I'm known to kill a verse and leave a track in a mess. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. Fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. Let's catch flies in the lashes like Aeon Flux. Only way you get a buzz is some loud in the Dutch. Got more than 6 speeds, keep riding the clutch. Don't play kicking the can, put my 4 in the cup. That's loco, headbutting these like Ocho Cinco. My mic surpassed that if you blink though. Probably missed the greatest play ever I made. Whether any track I spit on, hit on and get severed. You ain't got nothing to hit on, I'm just clever. I make bangers and I'm dressed to kill, who do it better? Too many clicks on a pick, can't spam the pain. And these trash bag rappers can't stand the rain. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. But I'm known to kill a verse and leave a track in a mess. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. But I'm known to kill a verse and leave a track in a mess. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. Fresh, clean from my head to my checks. Analyze the verdict, keep sipping like Kermit. Got way too many bars, they tryna take away my permits. Pissed on a bucket of crabs, became a hermit. Growing off the shit in the lab, I just burn it. Hip hop runs in my blood, I didn't learn it. I don't really care if they dance, cause I'ma turn it. Catching fire, these the Hunger Games, I just burn it. I eat any beat in my way and go purge it. I earn the right to kill, fought indictment still. Here, so I'ma show them who's nice without a deal. I'm fresh like zest, but Bilal on a track, dragging breath. I drop IEDs, watch your step. Your rappers looking funny, Mike Epps. I'm one of the greatest, I'm not the best. The best already met eternal rest. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. But I'm known to kill a verse and leave a track in a mess. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. But I'm known to kill a verse and leave a track in a mess. I'm fresh, clean from my head to my checks. Fresh, clean from my head to my checks. I'm fresh.
How much do you think this advanced operating environment is worth? Wait just 1 minute before you answer. Watch as Windows integrates Lotus 123 with Miami Vice. Now we can take this Ferrari and paste it right into Windows Right. Now how much do you think Microsoft Windows is worth? Don't answer. Wait until you see Windows Right and Windows Paint and to listen to what else you get at no extra charge. The MS-DOS Executive, an appointment calendar, a card file, a notepad, a clock, a control panel, a terminal, a print spooler, a RAM driver, and can you believe it? Reversi! That's right! All these features in Reversi, all for just, how much did you guess? 500? 1,000? Even more? No, it's just $99! That's right! It's $99! It's an incredible value, but it's true! It's Windows from Microsoft! Order today! P.O. Box 286 DOS, except in Nebraska.
Wiener Poopy. Wet your whistle.
You are listening to a Fly Science Productions podcast.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, hello.
I enjoyed that song. I enjoyed it. All right, well, let's get Ross. Let's get Ross on here. Let's do this thing. Join the call, Ross. Shoot, I forgot. Every week I have to do this now. Ah, crap. I have to now resituate you guys.
Resize it all.
Yep. Yep, isn't that the truth? Oh, and there he is. There he is, and nope, that's still not it.
Looking sharp today.
Yeah.
I'm over here in a cut-off hoodie.
As you should be. Good-looking cat.
I forgot to play your intro, so I'm going to play it now while I try to resize this. Ross is, distinguished, got his big old beard.
It's not going to be easy, but it will be worth it.
There's amazing things going on every day.
I may not be good, but I'm expensive.
It's Ross and I, and then a bunch of women. Don't let society tell you what to do. He has the power.
Brony.
And we're relatively good. Why is this... Hold on. We're almost there. Ross, go ahead. Sorry, I can't think. Ross, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. It's a nice Saturday. The weather is still ridiculously cold outside, but I'm inside, so I am happy.
You know what? It was kind of nice yesterday, actually. I think it got up to the 50s.
Yeah, that wasn't bad. I was outside for most of the morning at work, so that was miserable. But once it hit up to about 45, 50, I was happy.
I haven't had 45 in months.
Well, that's right.
You think that was... I'm a little upset with you guys right now.
Yeah, I know. It's
like today has been nice because it was not freezing this morning. It was 33.
Oh man!
Oh wow!
Slightly above.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
Awesome.
Go.
Well, let's see here. I'm in an argument now with these guys I work with about monitors versus TVs for your computer display. I understand that monitors are better, but I'm using a badass TV.
Yeah.
I'm trying to argue with them about this. I get it. Anyways, sorry. Your topic for today, Ross. Go ahead and lead us into that.
Oh, goodness gracious. Where to begin, right?
I know.
The weekly buzzkill.
No, it looks good. I'm excited. I'm excited for the topic at hand.
Well, we'll see where it goes. Have you guys ever seen the movie The Prestige with Hugh Jackman?
I love that movie.
It's a great flick, huh?
Yeah. I haven't. I have actually not seen it. Despite, I think I know what the twist is, but that doesn't matter. Anyways,
the twist. For those that haven't seen it, The Prestige is essentially just a movie about these two magicians that kind of go head to head and see who the biggest, who the greatest one is, and then Tesla gets involved, and there's a lot going on, but there's this really interesting quote in the movie that I'm going to read because today's topic is about the media and their prestige and its priority of profit. So the quote from the film goes like this. Every great magic trick consists of 3 parts. The first part is called the pledge. The magician shows you something ordinary, a deck of cards, a bird, or a man. The second act is called the turn. The magician takes the ordinary something and makes it do something extraordinary. Now you're looking for the secret, but you won't find it because, of course, you're not really looking. You don't want to know. You want to be fooled. But you wouldn't clap yet because making something disappear isn't enough. You have to bring it back. And that's why every magic trick has a third act, the hardest part, which is what we call the prestige. So the media's prestige, as I see it, is their way of taking the headlines, the stories, the things that are actually happening in the world, and then doing whatever they can, every little bit, to make sure that your perception, your opinion is based on what they're giving you. Not necessarily what the real story is, but what they're giving you. Perfect example. If you have ever heard of, like everybody's heard of Fox News, everybody's heard of CNN, those are the big ones. Mm-hmm. And there's also Reuters. Reuters is one of the top news agencies that's headquartered in London. And over the years has been found to be manipulating photos in a way to completely change the story so that the viewer's perception is based on what they want you to believe and not what actually happened. So, like, for instance, you know, they'll take a photo of a guy attacking a cop with a knife, and they'll Photoshop the knife out of the guy's hand so that they make it look like the cop shot an unarmed man. Things like that.
It's pretty drastic.
Yeah.
It entirely changes the context of a photo.
Yeah. And like I said, they're one of the top news agencies, and they're not the only ones. You know, like you can Google all day and find things that Fox has altered and changed, and CNN and MSNBC and ABC and all kinds of things. But that's just one example. So what I wanted to discuss today is something that I've been battling with myself over the last, I don't know, year or so, and I just wanted to kind of throw it out there and see if maybe it would at least get those, you know, get your brain working a little bit, get people to at least think in the right direction in terms of doing their own research and not just taking what everybody else is saying and making their own opinion. So one of the most intense issues in the media over the last 14 years, Islam, Muslims, terrorism. I mean, I have actually asked people this week, and friends, of course, that I don't work with, because I know that most of the guys I work with, I know their perception and what their, you know, political views are. But you ask somebody, all right, what is the most violent religion in the world? And what do you think the number one answer always is?
I'm sure it's Islam.
It's Islam. Yeah, everybody says it because that's what's happening in the world, and that's the view that you're getting from the media. So, like, for example, some of the things that I hear at work pretty regularly are that the Quran, which is the main Bible of Islam, tells you to kill anyone who is against you. Anyone who denies or defames the name of Allah or the Prophet Muhammad should be put to death. Another one of my favorites is that Islam is nothing but violence, was built for violence, and so on and so forth. So that's a lot of what you hear nowadays. And I don't know if the people that you guys work with, I don't know if this is even on the topic at work for you guys. Is this something you regularly hear about, talk about?
I don't know. The guys I work with, we might occasionally talk about controversial topics. My boss and I don't really talk much about it because I'm not sure that he and I are necessarily on the same page for topics of religion and such, which is completely fine. But if we're both kind of have our opinions about it, you know, there's no reason for us to talk about it if we both feel like we're not necessarily set in our ways, but it's a, you know, there's nothing I'm going to say that's necessarily going to change his mind and vice versa. So we don't generally approach the topic very much. And I don't generally have, like, you know, the time to sit down and discuss things with my boss. So there's no reason to dive into it. Whereas the people I go to lunch with, that I spend most of the day with, or talking to chat with, yes, we do have those kinds of discussions on occasion, but that's because it's also in a better environment for discussion. Okay.
And what about you, Tony? I mean, I know you work with a construction company. Now you're still kind of new.
Well, yeah, I work in an office. I work now, and
not a hard-working construction worker, not yet.
not a construction worker. But I'm new, and I know the people I work with, but not well enough to have like big, deep conversations. Really, like we talk like fantasy football, video games.
Much safer.
Don't get into really that deep stuff.
Okay, fair enough. And I'll tell you, like, where I work, because, I mean, we teach people how to survive in hostile areas around the world. So, of course, things like this are literally every hour of every day. These are the kinds of topics that are on people's minds. Mm-hmm. So, with people usually saying that the most violent religion in the world is Islam, I wanted to at least kind of school people a little bit, educate them in the fact that Islam is not the only religion that's experienced war throughout history. If we take, for instance, 1095 to 1291, we had the Crusades, which was essentially Christianity against Islam, and there were an estimated 1 to 3 million deaths. So Christians decided they wanted to get the Holy Land back, and they went and swept through the Muslim community in order to get that Holy Land back. And we had up to 3 million deaths worldwide at that point. So that's the majority of damage was done by Christianity.
Right.
So and that's one that a lot of people have heard about. If we fast forward a little bit to 1562 to 1598, we had the French Wars of Religion, which was essentially Protestants and Catholics, and there was an estimated 2 to 4 million deaths. Protestants and Catholics.
Good Lord.
Yeah, like
these years that these have lasted are insane.
Yeah.
Like the first one's 200 years long, and approximately. The second one we're looking at even 30 years.
Yeah, 35 years.
I mean, that's crazy. We're only 14 years into this like sort of, you could argue whether or not you ever think the quote unquote war has ended or started or whatever, but I mean, if there's still conflict and we're not sitting around not worrying about it, then I would count that as being sort of part of the wartime. I mean, shit, that's crazy to think that has lasted as long as they have.
Yeah.
Sorry,
that's right. It's 4 million deaths, and that was in France. I mean, and it wasn't in an Arab, an Arab nation. It was in France, and yeah,
bunch of white dudes killing each other.
Oh yeah, over religion. 1618 to 1648, so 30 years. This is actually called the 30 Years' War. Again, Protestants and Catholics, and this was a doozy. 30 years. Estimated 3 to 11.5 million deaths. And
that's insane.
And the whole reason behind these wars was religion. It was the difference in religion. You don't believe what we believe, we're going to war over it. We're going to take this land in the name of my religion, and we're going to kill you. And it's a war of attrition. And when people say, like, well, that was back then. I mean, it was different times. It was the Middle Ages. It was the Dark Ages, blah, blah, blah. But let's go to 1983. 1983 to 2005 was the Second Sudanese Civil War, where you had, again, Christianity against Islam, and there were another 1 to 2 million deaths. So it's easy to say nowadays, right now in 2015, that Islam is the most dangerous religion, and it breeds terrorism and whatever else. But what I want to kind of what I want to point out is that everything's about context.
Right.
If I take, for instance, the Christian Bible, I can take a piece out of that. Let's go back to Exodus, where Moses comes off of Mount Sinai with the 2 tablets for the 10 Commandments. Right. God gave him these 2 tablets. He walks down off the mountain, and when he gets down there, he sees all these people worshiping the golden calf. This is a story that a lot of people are familiar with.
Right.
But what most people don't know about this story is that when he saw this, he sees all these people that were waiting for him to come down off the mountain because they know that he had spoken with God. They saw the storm. Here he comes with these 2 giant tablets. And by the time he got back, because I guess they got bored, they didn't have Settlers of Catan and South Park back then.
Right.
He finds them worshiping the golden calf. So he gets so mad, he throws down the tablets and breaks one of the things, which, hey, God just gave you that, and you broke it 10 minutes later.
He's real angry.
He's not going to make another one.
So he does this, he breaks one of them, and then what most people don't know is that right after that point, Moses ordered the death of 3,000 men, women, and children for that act. And that's in the Bible. That's not me taking anything out. That is exactly what it is. 3,000 people were killed because of that act. So that's Exodus in the Christian Bible. We go forward to Leviticus. You have like women have to cover their head. Tattoos are prohibited because your body's a temple. Or even my personal favorite, lusting of the mind is adultery. So next time you look at that fine honey walking down the street, hey, nope, it's adultery. And it's a sin, and you're going to hell. I mean, and really, you can say, okay, well, let me find a Christian and ask them, well, how come you are a female that doesn't have their head covered? Or why are you a Christian that has a tattoo? And they'll tell you, well, what you're not getting is that Jesus died for our sins so that the old laws could be rewritten. And that's the reasoning behind it. That's the rationale behind it. So again, it's all about context. Most people haven't read the Quran. They don't see right there. Yeah, and ain't nothing wrong with that. And I've got one too. But a lot of people, they don't know the context behind, all of this information. They don't know the context behind what the Quran says because they haven't read it. And I'll be honest, I haven't read it either. But I'm going to tell you that hearing what I hear on a regular basis from the news and everything else, I know there's more to the story than what they're giving me. So, like, for instance, Tony, you have that tattoo. Mm-hmm. Are you Christian? Are you what?
Yeah, I'm a Christian. Okay. The tattoo is of a cross. Mm-hmm. But for me, it has more significance than just that because my cousin, before he passed away from an accident, he would just draw and sketch in like little notes when he was sitting in church. So we found this in a sketchbook, and it's the same thing on his headstone.
Wow.
So me and my brother and two of my other cousins, we all got the same tattoo.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I can definitely relate to that because when I was a teenager, from the time I was 15, I kind of grew up in the church, and I had this big, obnoxious necklace that was a cross that was probably the size of my hand. And everywhere I went, I wore that damn thing. And everybody knew that I was a Christian because of that cross. And I remember when one of my best friends, Brenda, was killed in Iraq, I went to his funeral. I actually buried that necklace with him because that was a big part of me, and it kind of went on from there. But anyway, before I digress, we look at things like this with the religion and Islam and everything else, and let's do the breakdown here because everybody says, well, look at how many crimes and terrorist acts the Muslims are committing. So here's the major religion breakdown. Top 4 religions in the entire world. Christianity, 2.2 billion people. Islam, 1.8 billion. So closing in on each other. Mm-hmm. Secular, non-religious, agnostic, kind of somewhere in that secular boat, 1 billion. And then Hindu is in fourth also with 1 billion. And then from there you have all the little sects of like, there's Sikhs and there's, a Buddhist and things like that. But the top 4, that's what we have. 2.2 billion Christians, 1.8 billion Muslims, and then 1 billion secular, 1 billion Hindu. So hypothetically, let's say for the sake of this argument, there are 1 million Muslims around the world that are radical enough to commit a terrorist act. That's 1 million, right? Now, we know, even if we watch the news every day, there are not 1 million Muslims causing trouble around the world. There might be, I don't know, a few thousand, 10,000, 20. There's not 1 million, though. There's no way. Because if there were 1 million, we'd see a lot more of the things that we see, these little snippets on the news every day. So let's say, hypothetically, 1 million Muslims all around the world radical enough to commit a terrorist act. Now, if Islam is a religion of pure violence, then what are the other 1.7 billion Muslims doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are they too busy watching TV to commit terrorist acts? Or is it more likely that we're being shown a picture that isn't entirely accurate from the media, and that's their prestige? They want to take what's there, show you just enough to get you thinking in that one direction, and then say, how do you decide, right? Go ahead, Tony.
They profit from fear.
Exactly.
Because that's what gets you watching TV. Like, stuff's going on, you're like, oh my goodness, I'm so scared, I gotta figure out what's going on. And they're just gonna pump it, keep pumping it at you.
Yep, and even if it's not true, they're gonna twist it or show you just enough so we didn't really know they know exactly what they were doing. You're absolutely right. And that's why this whole thing, as far as I'm concerned, is the media's prestige. It's them twisting it just enough to get you to believe what they want and the priority of the profit behind it. Because it is a company.
Yeah.
I really don't know when it happened. And it could have happened when I just, just lost interest in watching news in general. But there was a point where I realized that almost everything that you are ever going to see from a public media, big corporation, whatever outlet, is just going to be bullshit. Because if they don't tell you the whole truth, it's not really worth telling you at all. Right. Like if you're going to tell me this one thing, but you're going to twist the most important part of the information, what the hell are you even telling me for? Yeah. Because, and I understand, I know why you're telling me, because you want me on your side. You want to get me into the mindset that you're, the thing that you're catering to. But I don't have time for half-truths or whatever. You know, it's like, I really have an issue with just public media in general. Like, and it's really irritating, especially when it comes to something like religion. That's why I was really glad that you brought this up, you know, because no matter what we talk about, whether it's like, because, you know, right now it's Islam, and we're going to talk major crap about that and make it look bad because that's what we want people doing. We want people to be 100% in support of this war that we're having. So what's the way we can do that? Vilify the one common ground that we have in our enemy, or, you know, is that, oh, well, most of them happen to be Islam, you know, so that's what we want to unify is our dislike or our hatred of that, you know. And in 20 years, if we're not dealing with this anymore, guess what? It's going to be something else. You know, maybe it's going to be Christians. Maybe it's going to be something else. Maybe it's not even going to be about religion. Maybe it's going to be about people who like the color red. You know, it's going to be something that they're going to, it's irritating. And it's really hard for me to talk about without flying off the handle because it's for the things that you have said, you know. Shit. Let me see if I can look this up real quick. Have you ever heard the phrase "turn the other cheek"?
Yeah, of course.
That is completely taken out of context. It is actually one of the most like misquoted things. I'm trying to find right now the text it's taken from because it is a biblical quote actually. Let's see. Where's the But I'm trying to think of what the actual context. I don't even know what the original context that we used "turn the other cheek" for, anyways, because it's been so diluted and used for. But and so now this has become a horrible example because I can't even. But
I think I know where you're headed because I want to say maybe it's in the same scripture area of like eye for an eye, hand for a hand.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
Yeah. Okay, I think I found it, Jake.
Okay.
Matthew 5:39. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also.
What is the normal? And again, here I've completely lost. What is the normal turn the other cheek like reference that we would normally use it for? To
pretty much like if someone's turn the other cheek, like don't do what someone would expect, like don't react angrily,
right?
Kind of thing.
So I guess maybe it applies here because it's essentially just telling you, yeah, let the other guy hit you on the other cheek too. You know,
yeah.
I don't know. That's a horrible example. I'm done with it. I had it originally in my head, but I don't know. It's the context part that really like it, and specifically with religion. It feels like religion is like the number one thing that we like to take things out of context for, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's unfortunate because you would think that would be one of the things that you would never want to take things out of context
right,
for.
You want to be as literal as possible.
Exactly. Like, you know, sure, things are open to interpretation, but it's like it's doubly so for anything taken out of context. You know, you could have the most scientifically proven whatever piece of article, whatever, and then you pull one sentence from it that says one thing, and you know it could be. You could literally pull a sentence from an article talking about A and make them think that the opinion is about B because you pulled that one topic, that one sentence out, and then you go back and you read the article.
I just punched him right in the chest.
Yeah,
crumpled the kid.
Bam!
And you're like, wow, this doesn't. You know, you go back and you read the article, or let's say you read the Bible passage, and you're like, this is nothing of what that sermon or that article I read, I thought was about. It's about this whole other thing. Well. You know, it's because we take everything at face value. We take what the media presents to us. We take what these, I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Like, you made a great point of, like, maybe 50 years from now or 100 years from now, it'll be religion will not be the focal point. It'll be people that like red or that like blue. So if you think about it, it really has nothing to do with religion. Like, I had presented this question to you last night. We were messaging, and for the listeners, I asked Jake, how he felt about me presenting the question for discussion of, does religion cause war? Because, it's a pretty deep question, and I don't want to go too far onto one side and get too deep for discussion on that segment, but if you think about the core of what we're discussing, religion doesn't cause war. Differences of opinion don't cause war. It's the intolerance of each other, or it's the lack of willingness to accept somebody else's differences of opinion that causes war. That's the problem. So if we say that Islam breeds terrorism, it's no different than saying Christianity breeds hate and fraud, because we have Westboro Baptist Church that pickets at the funerals. We have televangelists like Jim Baker that have, stolen all this money and all these goods from members of Christianity. Catholicism breeds child molesters because of all the convicted priests. So religion doesn't cause war; it's intolerance.
That was, and I'm glad you brought that up, because that was, without having gotten into a lot of discussion last night, that was my main point when you asked me. That was, there's nothing inherently wrong with religion, but there are some bad things that come of it just because of that, of the way that we like to do it. And if it wasn't religion, it would be something else. And I think that's a very important thing for you to bring up there. Is very good.
Yeah. When I consider myself, I'm a Christian, but when I consider myself non-denominational, because I think it's just like, when it comes down to different denominations, just how you do different things. And I don't think it should matter how you do something as long as the core beliefs are all the same. So I don't understand why, like, those Lutherans, those guys, those Baptists,
right?
Catholicism, no,
yeah.
Like, it's all truly all based on the same core values.
Yeah.
So it just, I get some weird looks when people ask, and I say non-denominational. They're like, what?
We were non-denominational growing up, and it was, I don't know. It's interesting, because, well, then what book do you follow? Or, or like, well, then what are your core beliefs? And it's like, bro, we're all in Christianity. Yeah. You love people, you be nice about it. It's, oh my gosh. It's almost like belonging to an exclusive club, I've heard people talk about people who are, let's say agnostic or atheist. Atheist is I believing that there is nothing, as far as I understand, and agnostic is sort of not caring, saying, well, there might be, but I don't know. So, it's basically just sort of lukewarm. And, I've heard people examine that, and I've read people say, where the hell do they get their moral guidelines? And I'm like,
right.
So wait, you can't just be a good person because you were born and your parents taught you how to be a good person. You have to have these, and it's it's the same thing that we're talking about here with the Islam being our enemy, the most violent, whatever. We are teaching people that your religion is your defining factor. And at that, we're saying that the incorrect portrayal of Islam is the defining factor of these people. There was a thing this week that I think his name is Rupert Murdoch. Is he the guy who runs Fox? Something Murdoch.
I
think you're thinking of that company in England.
Who's the guy that runs Fox?
BBC? Oh, I don't know.
I am correct. It is Rupert Murdoch.
Okay.
Thank you for confirming that.
Challenging.
He made a comment that said Muslims need to. I'm trying to think of. Let me find it. I guess because it was a big thing this week. Is that he? Let me see. I promise this will be more fruitful than the turn the other cheek. Okay, maybe. Okay, so this is his Twitter account. He said maybe most Muslims peaceful, but until they recognize and destroy their growing jihadist cancer, they must be held responsible. So he is saying in his tweet, sure, most Muslims might be peaceful, but if you can't stop your radicalism of the people that isn't you, by the way, Those are those asshole brothers you have, you know, or not even related, whatever. Mm-hmm. You are responsible for this. Okay? That's what his tweet's saying. And it was a big thing because Aziz Ansari, the comedian, challenged him and was like, oh, okay, well then because you're Catholic, I now hold you responsible for every pedophile I've ever seen. You know, and basically just went on a tirade of tweets like, oh, well then how about this thing, you know, like this religion that does this bad thing, well, now everyone's a pedophile. Now everyone steals, everyone does, you know, just the same thing that you just went over. It's like, our problem here is the generalization. I had a martial arts teacher that, while he and I no longer are on great terms, was a very wise dude and said very wise things. And I'm sure this isn't a quote from him originally. He would always used to say, no generalization is worth a damn, including this one. And, I mean, anytime that you're generalizing anything, it's an awful idea. You know, whether you're doing it for comedy or whatever, fine, those are on different grounds. But if you're actually genuinely trying to say, whether it's about race or religion or people who like red or whatever, nobody is the same. You know, and to say that, to boil it down to, well, it's just because or Islam happens to be a violent religion. That's bullshit. We talked about it, about Christianity and people killing people over Christian, or, you know, you don't believe in this, and it's just filtered out. We don't freaking think about it because we don't want to think about it. So they filter it out of what we're presented. You know, don't remember those millions of people we already killed in our past because they didn't believe in us. I'm gonna try to settle down a little bit because I'm getting excited. Here's a good time. Continue. I'm sorry. It's basically my point. Is I get really frustrated when we generalize, when we say, you know, that the whole, you know, the one apple spoils the entire batch, or whatever that dumbass saying is. I can't remember, but basically saying that you said 1 million out of billions of people, you know, and now we condemn the entire religion. I think it's bullshit. Whether it's Christianity or Islam or any other religion you want to talk about. I think it's ridiculous to say that because a fraction of a percent, you know, if literally every 100% of that person or that thing was that way, then yes, sure, fine, you know, but they're not. The majority is not. And yet, you know,
and it's not even close.
There's 1 million versus billions.
And that's not even the case. If I say, like, I want to make sure everybody gets this. I'm not saying there's 1 million terrorists or Muslim out there. I'm saying, like, worst case scenario, let's say there's 1 million. But, I mean, think about how many times we've seen the Westboro Baptist Church on TV picketing at a military soldier's funeral, and we get infuriated. And people will go down there, and they'll go on their Harleys, or they'll go and they'll create some kind of line. But no one's walking up and shooting these bastards in the face.
Right.
So imagine us telling, or like Murdoch telling Islam, hey, until you destroy the cancer that is your radicals, we're going to blame you. But we're not doing anything different with all the people that are convicted of, you know, pedophile this and fraud of this and whatever else. It's no different, you know. So I guess back to the whole point of, like, number one, religion doesn't cause war. Intolerance does. Just accept people for believing something different than you. Don't try to push it on somebody else. Just do your own thing, mind your business, and just live your life and enjoy this experience of just being on Earth. Number two, beware of the media. Beware of the rumors. People regurgitate what they hear with no research at all. And they think, okay, well, if all these people feel this way, then it's got to be right. But you have to be your own person, make your own decisions. And finally, number three, think. It's not illegal yet. Think for yourself. Karmafied! Out!
Oh, man. Oh, and he dipped out. He dropped the mic. He left. Oh, shit. That was great. Oh, well, goodbye, Ross. That was incredible. That was a hell of
the best outro ever.
A hell of a finisher on the end of that one. So let's go ahead and resize our pictures here, and then we'll... you know what? I'm glad he brought that topic to the show today. I was kind of worried that we weren't going to find a definitive answer, and I told him, you know, well, if you're looking for us having a solid ending to Karmafied today, I was like, I don't think this is going to present that, you know? Asking this question, I don't think we're going to come with a solid answer, but I think we came up with, you know, we were able to dissect it quite a bit until I derailed us on that stupid turn the other cheek. I'm so pissed that I can't remember what my original qualm with the turn the other cheek thing was. Because I remember I used to hear it so much, and finally I was like, I wonder if that even means what it means. And I looked it up, and I saw the original quote, and I had an issue with it, but I can't remember now. So forget it. I'm never going to talk about it ever again. If you listen to the show and you decide that you like it, you like the show, help us out. Share the post on Facebook. Share the post on Twitter. Exactly.
I'm not sure what that means.
We'll use it for everything. If you like the show, turn the other cheek and post about it on Facebook. If you want to sponsor a segment, you can find out more about that on our website, which is streamthemachine.com. If you want to support us in a few different ways, you can go to patreon.com/streamthemachine, and either there, if you feel like it, you could donate like $1 a month if you wanted to. That would be great. Everything helps. Or you don't even have to donate at all. Just go there, become a supporter. Anything helps. Email in your music. I love playing original stuff on the show. It's like last week when Kevin had his favorite Greenville band come, play their stuff. It was good stuff. I loved it. I like finding new, weird, obscure stuff, like what we're coming up here, and it's not weird, but it's good. But I also like the kind of personal feeling that you get when you play other people's music. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at Redefined Jack. Tony is at Tony DePalma51. The show Twitter is at STM Podcast. It rarely posts, really only when the show goes live and whatnot, but that's about it. StreamTheMachine.com is the website. I want to thank everybody for coming on the show, being awesome today. Tony, as always, for being a great co-host and having our audio issues at the beginning of the show every day. Which is mostly my fault. It really has nothing to do with Tony. And thanking Ross for bringing back such a great segment. We've been on our serious topic spree for so long and just kind of, trying to quick fire those out, and finally comes back with a hard-hitting, hard-crushing topic for us. Well, that's the end of our show. Next week is episode 41. We're doing pretty good on time today. Not bad at all. Yeah. Especially for having such a heavy topic like that. You know what? Ross killed it today. I'm impressed. It was a thick, you know what? It was a nice, juicy topic. These are the longest notes he's written in a while. I wish I could show them to everybody. He hasn't written notes like this in a while. And we were done, I don't know, 30 minutes? Maybe it's because we gave extra time. I don't know. Anyways. Cool stuff. Anyways, song. We're playing the show out. This is Amy Sayer. The song is called, what are we doing here?
Sorry. I just wanted to see how much I changed the text size to the
okay. I was like, whoa, shit.
So much
this has got so much bigger. This is Amy Sayer. This is going to be a little bit softer. I was looking for something kind of folky to play. This is considered UK folk. The song is called Hands of Time, is off the album called Amy Sayer's Songs. Nice thing to chill out for. Hope everyone has a good weekend. Take a load off, sit back. I can finally relax now. I have my Canadian contacts in my eyes.
Did they work?
Yes,
they're working good?
They arrived, and they're great, and it feels so much better because it doesn't feel there's dust in my eye. I've taken them out the last couple nights, so I'm going to try not to sleep in them as much as I can. It was actually incredible. So when I put the new ones in, it felt like I was putting in air. They were so light. The other ones, for whatever reason, and it's not like they had dirt buildup or anything, but they had gotten rubbery and almost like they expanded. It was the weirdest.
Yeah, that's not good, man.
It doesn't sound good, no. But these, I put them in my eyes and I was like, what? I couldn't feel them. I couldn't feel them in my eyes. I was impressed. So,
that's how it's supposed to be, man.
I know. It's been like a year, though, with the bad contacts. Little quote from Bender here.
Does Barry Manilow know that you raid his wardrobe?
He doesn't. But in turn, we're going to play out Hands of Time with Amy Sayer. Tony, thank you for coming on the show and being awesome.
Thank you.
We will be back next week for episode 41, 9 episodes away from episode 50 and our 1-year anniversary. Have a good weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye.
Stream the Machine out.
Deep in mud and grass, running from childhood feelings. And now our eyes, hands of time, they're joining yours and mine. Some midnight touch of flame before it gets too late. Some miracle, we've come full circle. Let's sewn up the sun. Now we're coming undone. And now I face the fact that I can't turn my back on all that I had known. It's time you took me home to where the lines were drawn for us to color in. And now those lines are worn. We're free to start again. Knee deep in mud and grass, my friend, how time has passed since we have spread our wings, running from childhood feelings. And I cannot wait to see you again. And I will not wait forever, my friend.
Well, f that asshole.
Thank you for Thank you for listening, ladies and gentlemen. What a grand show. Oh. It's time to go now. It's time to spend the next 20 minutes trying to upload this crap for all the people who don't tune in live. Because I hate you people. No, I'm kidding. Goodbye. Have a good weekend. Enjoy yourselves.